Hello, it's time for another segment of soul food from the sick bed. I chose these because our souls do need nourishing. Sometimes the humdrum of life is so overwhelming that some people separate that part of their lives from God. But God is every part of our lives if we allow Him, and He is omnipresent. He's there wherever we are, even in the loo. We can't run away from Him, just like we can't run away from our children. I laughed the other day when someone asked if I've finally reached, or the children have finally reached the stage where I can go to the loo in peace and just do my business. No, not yet. Even my teenager will come knocking and say, "Mom, this and this," or "Mom, this child did this." Even they to think, okay, let's just wait. Believe me, there's never been a fire. Nothing has even caught alight. In fact, the one time something caught alight, I wasn't even in the loo. I was right there sitting with the children, reading them a story, also cooking, and then the next thing I look up, they were sitting on the ground, on the floor, and the pan is on fire. So that is the only time something in the house has caught fire, and I wasn't in the loo. There's never been an emergency while I'm in the loo. Yet there's no peace while I'm in the loo. So that is the thing. Motherhood, or whatever the busyness is, takes over your day, and we just forget that our souls need nourishing through those days, throughout those minutes, throughout those hours, throughout the worst moments where there's actually nothing possible that anyone can do to make things better. We are different. We in the autism world are so diverse. We in the chronic illness, chronic pain, ankylosing spondylitis world are so different. And that's the thing. Even if we try and find people who are like us, there will be none. There will be no one who is like us. You might be an American whose disease or disease progression is like that of an African. But then your situations are different. You might have health insurance. The African might not have health insurance, might not even have a rheumatologist in the entire country. So already there are differences. Your pain unites you, but how you treat it or what the options are, they cause a separation. There's a gap between the two of you. That is what it's like in the groups as well. There is no group where you will find only your tribe. So yes, there are the people who are not ill, who don't live every moment in pain, who don't wake up already exhausted. I keep mentioning this, the young, healthy lady who said, "Don't forget we also get tired." When I was saying, I'm so happy that I managed to do this despite the fatigue. And I was thinking, good for you. I didn't bother answering because I know her heart. Now I know her heart more than I did then. I thought we were united. Oh, wow, I'm stupid. But I didn't bother saying, yeah, and did you wake up tired? Do you have a sickness? Do you have 6 children? Do you have children who are autistic? It just goes on and on and on. And playing the comparison game, it makes you look stupid and uncaring if you're the one who plays it. And trying to do a tit for tat is just going to be a waste of your brain and a waste of your mental abilities. We need our abilities, our mental acuity, our brain, despite the brain fog, for our children. So we don't waste time even engaging with the dummies out there. We don't waste time. Well, some of us do waste time trying to educate the fools. But the Bible does say, don't bother giving your pearls to swine. And only those who walk the path will know how thorny it is. No one else ever can. And yes, some do walk their own thorny paths. And just in the same way, I will never know what that person's thorny path is like. I'm on mine. They could have weeds, like Jack, what is it called? Whatever, she devils. Something devils and Jack whatevers and whatever those weeds with their horrible thorns are. We each walk our thorny paths, but they're so different. And what we need for each other is understanding and grace and just silence. We might not say to the person like Job's friends did, it's your fault that you're like this. But our words can, just like his, be hurtful. Our people might say things that are so wrong that God, just like he did with Job, he will tell them, your friends, like he did Job's friends, you people are stupid. What you have been saying to Job is the dumbest thing you could have ever said. You should have just kept your mouth shut. You have hurt and wounded an innocent person. I might not even forgive you. In fact, you should read the book of Job. In fact, only if Job forgives you, then will I forgive you for how you've treated my innocent servant. And so that's just a side thing. God will fight for you. God will fight for you. Don't waste your breath. Don't. But what I wanted to say today, the soul food that I wanted to give, was more along the fact that we are so different. Our lives don't collide. Some aspects are the same, some are not. And in that moment, God says, be still and know that I am God. I am with you. Because wow, when it's heavy and there's nobody else who can ever understand, who can ever get it, you really feel like banging your head against the wall. Some people will scream and shout, hear me, I'm dying. Those people are the ones who will post videos or pictures of themselves on their Instagrams or on their Facebook pages with the tears streaming down their face. Guys are miserable. I can't judge them. Lots of people say they're attention seeking. But maybe what they're seeking is comfort. Maybe in their own actual in the flesh lives, there's nobody who cares. There's nobody who sees. And so they're reaching out to those of us in the virtual world and saying, please see me, because I'm suffering and I don't want to suffer alone. I've seen people who are suffering who post pictures of themselves in tears. I've seen people who later on, adults, they discovered that, oh my word, I'm schizophrenic and bipolar. And those moments when I did all that attention-seeking stuff, I really was ill. It's scary what people are going through. And I wish we could all be caring, not careless with our words. But until that happens, some of us will have to walk that path alone. We will not have a Simon from Cyrene to help carry our cross. We will carry it alone. And while we carry that cross, the thoughtless and the uncaring will be whipping us with their words. I'm sorry to use such imagery, but that's exactly how it feels. So I bought, it was cheap, it's from Temu, however you pronounce it, this wall hanging from Psalm 46 verse 10. Be still and know that I'm God. And I thought, let me just look at the whole chapter. I know it, but let me go back to the whole chapter. Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Selah. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right away. Well, it says that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. He gets rid of all those things that are causing wounds and injuries and damage. Though we live it and we are in the fire, he cutteth the bow, he teareth the spear and all of that, but the war has raged. We have become bloodied and wounded. That's what I wanted to pick up on. God is with us, even though the earth is shaking and trembling and there's war and there's trouble. God is with us. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. There are people who unintentionally cause hurt. There are people who are just born to cause trouble. People whose own mothers, elderly people, will say, "What is wrong with your insert aunt or mother or whoever?" There's an old lady who passed away now, but we visited her, and she is the mother of another relative within the family. And this person, this relative, has been really cruel and unloving. They want to be the queen bee, and that's it. And they will trample on anybody and cause a lot of pain and damage. And her own mother said, "Why is my child like this?" Wow. We cause pain not only on the ones who we inflict it on intentionally, but we cause pain to those who are seeing what we do. So there are people who do that, who are unintentional, but they thoughtless. They didn't think before they say something really dumb and not helpful. And then there are those who are out there to wound, to cause trouble, to say to you, "If you're not doing it my way, your way is wrong, and I will make sure you feel my wrath." And those are the people who will not care how you are, who will tell you, "Oh, please, whatever. Don't you know, we all get tired." Those are the people you tell yourself, "Okay, God said I must be still." Those words, those darts of pain that they throw at me, I will be still. Back to the groups. The groups are full of people who are different. Some are happy, some are not. Some have mild disease, some have my advanced disease, some have aggressive disease that speeds on fast and they've at already 27 are bent over. Some will be 67 and only starting to bend over. Maybe at 54, that's only when their necks are now fully fused and they can't move them. It's different. I just wish we could all care, because wherever you are suffering. Even if it's at the start of your disease, you are suffering. So in the groups, you will find, thinking of autism now, you'll find the mothers who say, "I want to make my child do this. I want my child to make eye contact with you. How do I make my child talk? How do I make my child do this? Be still. Be still. You are now the enemy of your child. Please meet your child where they are. See their innocence. See the fact that this is not them. This is the disorder. It is those tangled up neurons, or those neurons that are not making any connections. That is what is causing this. And you cannot make them do anything. You'll find the mom who then says, "Well, I took my child to these hours of ABA therapy, this amount of hours of speech therapy, and this is what helped my child then blossomed." And then you'll find an autistic who says, "Well, my mother did that. I've never learned to talk. I was subjected to all that torture. I never learned to talk." What if your child was going to talk, whether or not you took them to speech therapy? And that's the thing some parents don't think of. There are the parents who think they are to blame, who think they've caused the autism. They're wrong. There are the parents who think they can cure or treat the autism. They're wrong too. Whatever happens is not in our hands. We didn't make the child improve, nor did we cause the child to regress. It's not in our hands. And when we come along saying, "Well, I did this and this is what helped," what we're doing is telling the other mother that you're not spending enough money. You are not paying enough money for this child of yours. If you could just add on another 2 hours of therapy, then your child would progress. You are holding your child back. I felt it. I've never posted it because they don't know that reality. But I felt it, and I saw a post, which it was me. I don't know which country she's in, but she was saying, I see all of these interventions all of you people write about, and my heart breaks because I'm holding my child back. I don't have the money to pay for OT. I don't have the money to pay for behavioral therapy. I don't have the money to do this. I'm holding my child back. I felt like that. I felt like that for a long time, until the interventions, because the first one who verbalized it could verbalize it, until the interventions themselves were causing my child to be wounded and in pain, until she started thinking, why am I having intervention and no one else? See, there's a cost to everything that we do. There's a message we are sending to our children. The older they are, the louder the message screams. You are not good enough the way you are. You are not acceptable the way you are. Eye contact, believe me, you will not die if a child does not make eye contact with you today or tomorrow or in the future. I didn't die when my son wasn't making eye contact with me. I didn't die when my child wasn't kissing me or hugging me. I even didn't die when my child pulled away from me when I wanted to touch him. We don't have to make our children do anything. Force is the worst thing we can do. Just love them. Let us love our children as they are. If there are interventions that will help, let's be happy if we can do them. And if we can't afford those interventions, look at it the other way. You are not making them any worse than they already are. You are not holding them back. Their brains are going to keep forming connections. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next year, but their brains will keep forming connections. The more you are mommy, loving, caring, reading their signals and responding accordingly, they are learning. They are already learning by you just being mom. I said it as well, that the things I was doing for my son, the occupational therapist, trained as she was, charging me as much as she was charging me, those are the same things she was doing. Don't look down on your own natural inborn intelligence. The fact that you're already in the groups says you want to know. You already invested in your child. And believe me, those minutes, hours of investment that you spend on your child, they will have an impact. There are children, adults who spent all those intensive hours in therapy who will never and have never said a word. Believe me, you have no clue what your extra intervention could do and could not do, but we know it can harm them. Find out from the adults who are autistic. Don't only learn from us parents. Please go learn from the adults who are autistic. Many of them would tell you, be still. Just be still. You are hurting me. I learned to force myself to say help because the therapist was punishing me if I didn't. And when I stopped saying help, when I didn't have to speak, when I was in my room, that is why I would then bite myself until I bled, because of what I was forced to do. There is a cost, not for all children, obviously, but there is an unknown cost to our attitudes and to these therapies. Not always, obviously, but there are many parents who would cry if they knew what their children had gone through. But I can tell you, if I, neurotypical as I am, didn't tell my parents what I was going through in school, neither are they telling you what they're going through in therapy, if they can even conceptualize what is happening. They are asking you, be still. And then on the other hand, the sweet sister. I love it when we can all try and care for each other and be there for each other. She wasn't even on my mind, but she took on board where I said, please don't just send verses and songs. I didn't ask for them. But here's the caveat. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It depends on what the verses and songs are saying. If you're going to send me a song and say, don't you remember the days when you were a teenager and you sang, oh, the cross is light. Isn't it amazing that God has made your cross light? That I don't want, because you don't know how heavy my cross is right now. You don't even, yeah. Honestly, some crosses are lighter. Some crosses are made of paper. They carry them, they can feel them, but they're not heavy wooden crosses. So that person who's carrying her paper has no right to tell me with my heavy cross that my cross is light. Thanks to God. Aren't you glad? That's not the right message, because that trivializes the suffering. And so she, this friend of mine, then said, I'm so sorry, because I've been sending you verses and songs. But this thing is, they were personalized. They were exactly what I needed. Or I didn't know I need, but they gave me strength. Or they just literally just reminded her of me. So if she heard a Xhosa song, she would send me a Xhosa song which happened to be Christian. That's okay. That's lovely. I'm glad she can think of me over there, all the way in Britain, in her Shona-ness. That's fine. And the verse, one of the verses that she sends a lot, often, and I don't even mind that, is Isaiah 43. And she was saying, I'm so sorry that I just sent verses and I didn't put myself in your situation. She actually had. You will actually see where in her messages, when she sends the verse, she will say, I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you do this. I don't know why it is that you care about me when you're recovering from surgery. A verse that comes after that already is meaningful, because it comes from a person who has seen and who cares and feels helpless, but wants to help in some way. And God is a soother. His word is a balm. So she always, not always, often has sent me some Isaiah 43. I love it. I love it. So even when we're having Bible study, I will mention it that, my friend Letitia, I hope she doesn't mind me saying her name, she sends this verse and these verses, and I love them. And I will not end. I will close this Bible study portion by reading it. But now, thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. There was a time, guys, when my dad loved me. My full name is Tandiwe, but the living Tandiwes I know don't embody what God wants people to embody. So I thought, I'm going to distance myself from anyone called Tandiwe. I'm sorry for all the good Tandiwes. I don't know you. I'm going to distance myself from any other Tandiwe by shortening my name to just Tandy. So officially, my name is just Tandy, that one. Tandy Refilwe Rose. They're my surname. I kept Refilwe Rose because that's what my dad calls me. My mom would always call me Tandy. My dad would be Refilwe Rose, because one is Xhosa, one is Sotho. So Refilwe Rose means we've been given a rose, something precious. If I would do anything positive, even now in my recent adult years, maybe 2 years ago, he would say to people, you see, and that's why I called her Refilwe Rose. Look at her. She's a rose. She's been so kind. She's been so generous. She's thoughtful. God has called us too. We don't know the name yet that we will be given in heaven, his name that he chose. Only John was given a name besides Jesus himself. The rest of us, our parents, yeah, but John, we know the name came from God. And God has given us a name, and he has called me. I am his. Even though I'm going through torture, I am his. Even though your child is keeping you up all night, you are his. It doesn't mean your child will not keep you up, and it doesn't mean it makes it any easier, but you are his. I am his. And when I am in pain and I'm saying, I can't take this, I'm talking to my dad, Father, God in heaven. I am his. This is the verse 2, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. It makes it sound so easy, like, oh well, like Daniel and his friends, and they just passed through the fires. But they were beaten, they were tied up, they were maligned, they were abused. It wasn't a pleasant experience. Those raging floods are not pleasant. He's with us, but he doesn't say, I will get rid of the fire. I will make a way through the waters so that there's no water to touch you. The water will touch us. It will be overflowing us. But he is there. He will hold us up. Like Peter. Think of Peter. Some of these experiences that we go through are almost like Peter, except we're not proud when we're going through them. Peter, when he started sinking, when he looked back at his disciples, at his fellow disciples, to say, ha, look at me, I'm walking on the water. Then he started sinking. Sometimes they're not of our, many times, thinking of AS and autism and any other issues, they're not of our causing. But we will sink. It will sink. And Jesus will lift us up. I don't know when, but there are moments where we feel lifted up, even during the trial. Cherish them. Even if that moment is just that 1 hour of sleep, when you could be unconscious, cherish that 1 hour. I will hope with you that you get 2 hours tomorrow. I will hope with you that someone else says, okay, I will stay awake with your child today. You go to my house where there's no noise and go and sleep. I will also hope for that. But in the meantime, until that happens, because I know I would live it on my own. Actually, I'm lying. I wouldn't live it on my own. I just know that the person I would ask, I don't know how she would handle it, because she's not strong either. Anyway, so neither shall the flames kindle upon thee, for I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee and people for thy life. He was our Savior. He is our Savior. There's no other greater evidence of his love than what he went through by choice on this earth. Fear not, she ends with verse 5. My friend, fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. You see, guys, we will be scattered. We will be tormented. Like the Israel of old, we will be taken into captivity, bound by pain, chains of pain, bound by disorders that don't allow us to associate with other people because our children are so misunderstood, or because they will create so much chaos for other people. Whatever binds us and keeps us away from freedom, keeps us away from peace, God will bring us back from that. And there will be people who will send those verses who I know are not even thinking of, not these ones, who will send verses like, God is going to give you a new body. Okay, but today, what about today? Have you acknowledged that today my body is not okay? And Letitia, she acknowledges that today I had an operation, today I am in pain, and she doesn't know how I can continue being kind and loving, whatever she has pointed out in her message in that particular moment. She reminds me, be still, see. Sometimes we're so engulfed by the darkness that we don't see that we actually are the light. And sometimes that is what we are called, to be the light that dispels the darkness around us so that others can see God through us. I hope that when she sees, I know it because she says so, but I hope that when people see you also being cheerful, trying to find the light moments in the heaviness, they will see God and they will glorify him. your Father who has called you by name, your Savior. So stuff has been hard. Life has been hard. Stuff is hard. I don't even know what to say. It is heavy. I can't go into much. I won't go into much except to say my husband was telling me this week that because we try and walk, and he's now shortening the walks, the length, the time we spend. And that's the thing with AS. While you're doing it, you feel okay, but afterwards, then you are in pain. When near the end, you are suffering and you're far away from home, and you look, he'll ask, should I go get the car? Why don't you sit down here? But I can't sit down on the road. That will hurt too. So he has said, you're walking worse and worse with every passing week. Your bones, your SI joints, your hips, you're breaking down. With every passing day, you're getting worse. So school obviously is feeling worse with every passing day. Fatigue is really engulfing me. Actually, this is the third video I've shot because I've been so tired when I'm speaking that my words, I just lose my ability to speak. I fall asleep while I'm talking to you and I lose my train of thought. And what I want to say is so gone behind the brain fog that I never actually bring it out. That has been my week. So I even shot this without taking my other set of painkillers so that I could be a bit more aware of what I'm saying and what I have said and what I want to say, which is, it's not easy. Chronic disease is constant. It's not easy. And progressive disease is constantly worsening. I'm still waiting to hear from medical aid. I'm with you if you are in that state where maybe you've tried all the biologics you can and you're still not getting better. You've done the infusions, the drips, you're still not getting better, or it's not halting, it's not slowing down. I might not have tried all of them, but in that sense of watching it progress, I'm with you. It's lonely, it's painful. I don't text my friend and say, hey, Zozo, I can't actually go up on my hands anymore at all. I'm now just doing the exercise on my elbow. But I do say, okay, God, you're allowing this disease to progress. I can't even get up on my hands anymore. But hey, I will still keep trying, and so I will stay on my elbows and lift myself up off the floor. I will do what I can do. You please do what you can do, God. But also I will be still. My heart is aching. My bones are breaking. But I will be still. I know you love me. I don't know why you're allowing this to happen, but I will be still. I won't cry. Or I can cry. But I won't text Azor. I won't text anyone because it's hard. It's hard being the one who loves and you can't help. I've seen it with my child. We will be going to the doctor tomorrow. It's hard not being able to help. And every time she mentions the pain, or every time a sibling says, oh, mom had ribs, it just feels so overwhelmed with helplessness. And I don't want to do that to other people. And so I say, Lord, I will be still. If I shared every moment, every tantrum, every meltdown, that person who once said, oh, why do you always tell the negative? If I actually shared every single moment, I think she would go insane because she doesn't want to know that my life is like that. And so I will be still. I will not. But at the same time, I will not be still for the sake of the others who are in my shoes. And that's why I'm doing this video. You know, sometimes when you are deep in sorrow and heartache, when you are limping along, or when you are walking stiff, that's when the beautiful moments also happen. And sometimes we have to create or see the beauty because it's so mundane for other people that we forget to see the beauty. When they're doing this, and they're jumping happily on the trampoline and safely, they are not throwing a tantrum. Be still. Absorb the peace. Absorb the break from the heartache. when she's jumping on the trampoline, she's not taking too many toys and causing havoc because she can't carry them, literally can't carry them because there are too many, and then they keep falling out her arms, and then she cries and gets very angry because you're not somehow making them stay in her arms. I've got the twins, both 4 years old. And we did say we can't tell the intellectual impairment of each. But I will say it's more clear because the one speaks and the other doesn't. So my angel who doesn't speak, we know is intellectually impaired. And I can tell she has very limited reasoning. So she will be the one who's packing up her arms full of toys and things, and she's carrying a lot, and then they fall out her hands. And her twin, her 4-year-old sister, will say to me, "Mommy, look at what she's doing. She's got so many toys, but now they're falling, Mommy. She's got so many. It's too much." Even a child can see it. Her own twin will say, you're not being logical. Obviously, it's not possible. What you're trying to do is not possible. And so when they're happy, when she's calling me to do something that I can't do, in that moment, I will pause and say, "Phew, at least in this moment, I am not trying to mop up the tears and to plug the screams of a child who wants the impossible." What I had said in the other video, I think I had said that I couldn't. There are many times where we mothers, we don't know how to keep them quiet. It's like we've got babies, never-ending babies. When you've got a baby, you always tell yourself, "I can't wait until they can talk, so they can tell me what's wrong, then I can comfort them, soothe them." But when they're a newborn or a baby, an infant, you don't know why they're crying. Are they itchy? Are they in pain? Are they hot? Are they cold? Not knowing hurts you a lot. But now what if it continues until they're 40 years old? You're stuck in that loop. It will never get better. And so when they're not crying, when they're not angry, breathe in that moment and just be still and take in the peace. Be still and feel his presence. Feel him with you. Feel his arms around you in that moment of peace. So I'm grateful for the friends who don't keep quiet, who do send the verses, the friends who are friends indeed. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the good moments amongst the struggles. So what I'm going to do is post some little snippets of videos that have happened throughout this week of our homeschooling life. I will try and do some voiceovers for where there are things I've forgotten. And I'll be honest too. We did a game of Skittles, which is part of OT, part of also physio. I've been there, done that, and when I read the books, it says the same thing. It is helpful, it's good, and it's fun. So we did the Skittles, but my back was aching at the same time. But it was fun. But they were working. See, as I said, we are all on our own individual journeys, even if we belong to the same group. And so I can't find an OT. I will be the OT. OT and school don't happen at the same time, even in real life. Even when you're taking your child to a professional OT, when they're in the OT, they're not doing maths. So you as a homeschooling mother, please stop beating yourself up for not being everything at the same time, or even in one day. You will have the children who are, when they're in special school, they're having intensive therapy and no academics. If you're doing that, don't compare yourself to the people who can do academics. Look at your child as the individual, the bright star they are, even if they might be burning you and you need your sunglasses to look at them because they're a sun, and whatever they may feel like, look at them, see them, their needs. And really all a child needs is food, safety, and shelter. And if that's... Well, I'm sorry about that. It just disappeared. I got a phone call and I thought I was recording, but it only got the last few minutes which way when I was now packing up. So what I was trying to say was, and if that's all you can be, safety, shelter, food, that's good enough. And also, if you are being mom, if you're giving of yourself, giving your attention, your time, you're already being therapeutic. There's never any guarantee that any therapy is the one that helped, but there's always a guarantee that a safe place is what your child will ever need. And I've seen what the adult autistics have said. And I promise you, being accepting, understanding, being therapeutic in your play, doing what you can do, teaching, repeating words that you want them to learn, signing, trying to find what will reach your child and what your child can do to reach you, you're really doing enough. And so I hope that you will take heart. You're enough. Even if you can't afford all those expensive treatments, you are enough. Just breathe, be quiet, be still. Please don't try and make your child do what they cannot do or what they cannot do right now. Instead of forcing them, let's love them as they are. Let us be still. And don't forget, God is the God of the miraculous. Sometimes He may not work a miracle in your child. The miracle will be in our own hearts as the parents. At the end of the day, God will return us from where we have been held captive. Let us be still. For the sake of our children and their mental health, let us be still. Wow, hello happy children. Because
we're jumping.
You're jumping. Wow.
Our legs.
Does Rio like it when you jump and she's lying down?
Yes. We're so tired.
You're so tired. Okay, all of you must lie down and be quiet now. Whew. Even Teddy's lying down, Mickey.
Yes.
Everybody is lying down.
We are sleeping.
Yes, you guys are sleeping. Can you look up at the clouds? And they're moving. It's like the clouds are
moving down.
Yes,
Clouds.
the clouds are moving.
Nana's going to be moving away.
Yes.
Oh, the sky.
The wind is blowing the clouds away.
Yes, it's going to rain later.
Yeah, maybe it will rain. I don't know. Okay, so that one works much better. Well done. You get more with it. Your turn, Amrisa. Dear autism parents, please stop trying to make your children do this, force them to learn this and that. I am really saddened by the number of posts of parents saying, my child isn't talking, how do I make them talk? My child isn't this, how do I make them do this? My child doesn't look at me, how do I force them to look at me? That's not what parenting is about. It's about making life as stress-free as possible. Sitting there and making your child talk will not help them at all. Believe me. Ask many adult autistics who have trauma, and they will tell you, don't force your child to do anything. Please, pretty please. What I can tell you is we've had problems with puzzles. I think I mentioned before that the one puzzle that she did do, our angel, was one that had sound. So when you put on the piece, it made sound, and that really motivated her to do the puzzle pieces. Why? Is so that I can check her visual acuity or visual processing or discrimination, her visual processes, and also fine motor skills, moving the things around. This is another one that I bought if you're in Cape Town, I bought it at Bargain Books. Yeah, so what this is simple. Finding the matching puzzle piece. My angel will take, let's say this, and she will try and fit it in. That's just how her brain works. So what I do is then give her an option and say, where does this go? And then you can tell, she can see, they match, and she will always put it in the correct slot. Always, 100% of the time. And that's the whole point of parenting also, and teaching, is not only to teach them new things, but make them feel and know that they are capable. So with this, when she will feel satisfaction from getting it in the slot and from me saying, well done. And we don't talk a lot because her brain isn't there. She doesn't want to talk a lot. She wants to turn the page. So I just hand her the picture that matches, and then she puts it in the correct place. Baby steps, baby steps. Our children have many years to go, and they will only be with us, or we will only have them. We will only be alive for a very short time. So let us try and make their memories as pleasant as possible, while, yes, making sure that we do stretch their brains. So then what I will then do the next time is I will then give her two options. One that doesn't belong. I'm trying to see one that doesn't belong. And then she picks the correct one. Puzzles don't have to be from 0 to 30. You don't have to go from 0 to 30. Go from 0 to 1, please. Please. It's less stressful for them, less stressful for you, and you both have accomplished something. And if your child cannot yet do that, mine was 5. No, turning 5 in October, and this is what we really are. Don't stress the little things anymore. Please don't let the little things stress you. As long as they're happy, you should be happy too, because when they're not happy, it's another whole story. So let's just do it in baby pieces, guys, and baby steps. Please take baby steps. Their brains are formed in different ways. The neuron, what's it called? Synapse connections. All of that is different to ours. It is not a behavioral thing. It is neurological. It's in the brain. So let us try and form connections slowly. If you're a child of mine, obviously. And as I said, we are pretty sure our very talkative twin is also autistic, but she doesn't need help. She will find and look for the correct piece and put it in. Both children gain from doing these puzzles. I've got another one that's a farm one, and I think it's got farm animals. Yes, it's got farm animals. So yeah, that's just one of the things that I've done and that I was working on with my daughter. Both daughters. Today was actually the first time that she saw this and was presented with it. So she did quite well. She didn't want to discuss the actual vehicles. She just wanted to put things in. And that also is a win, because before, puzzles meant nothing to her. Please also open your eyes to the wins. Puzzles meant nothing to her except something to line up, which of course is fine. It's not like she's hurting anyone, and she's definitely not hurting herself, which is lining things up. But this is what puzzles have been to her, puzzle pieces. So for her to now go to, let me put it in, that is actually a victory. She's now gotten it. Puzzle pieces go into the hole, the slot, and we get to choosing and all of that. It's good enough. Please don't strain yourselves if your child is not proving themselves to be an Einstein. There are different comorbidities that go with autism. Not all are going to be the savant who has an extreme expertise in one area, or just purely across the board intelligent also. They might have ADHD, which doesn't help them focus anyway. They might have even up to 4 comorbidities: ADHD, learning disability, low IQ. They please just don't compare your child. Don't compare them to your neighbor's autistic child. You see your tongue? Yes. Yes, exactly. Your color, your tongue is pink. Yes, you saw in the mirror. Yes.
Oh, see me.
Yes, I can see you. You're jumping. And what are you doing now?
Drinking.
You're drinking. Yay. Leo, did you look in the mirror? Yes, you did. The other day she did, but not now, eh? So you saw your pink what? Yes.